Most leaders fail, not because their team is weak, but because they take no responsibility. Jocko Willink, a Navy SEAL commander, says the moment you stop blaming and start owning everything in your organization, you become unstoppable. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the leadership tactics that can turn any team into a high-performing machine starting today. So one of the biggest things that I learned in my entrepreneurial career when I was first getting started was I actually listened to and read through the book Extreme Ownership that actually Jocko Willink created. Some of the biggest life lessons that I've learned is that to take ownership of everything means you now become in control. Instead of blaming every other person or the employee for not showing up on time or getting a lot of complaints on the properties or not listening to you or doing what you're told. And the reality is you selected them, you hired them. If we continually put the blame on others, there's no way to improve that. I can't control what other people do. If we take control of the situation at all times and have that framework and mindset, it will serve you much better in your career. One of the other really big key nuggets that I wanted to address was really the life lesson of prioritize and execute. So we must focus on what matters the most. And in business, there are a million different things that we can work on and fires that need to get put out and team members that come and tell you, hey, this happened and that happened, and customers that are upset and might leave you a 1-star review, and like all of these fires that are constantly going on, especially through the spring rush. But the great ones, the great Navy SEALs and the great business owners that have that framework and mindset of prioritize and execute, put all of those things on a list, figure out what is the 1, 2, or 3 top things that if I got done today would move the needle forward for the business the best. And I can tell you, mowing the next lawn or sending the next email is not the most important thing. Let me just tell you that right now. I think it's very important that we understand that if we can prioritize and execute and have that discipline, it will actually unlock freedom for you down the road in the future for your business. Look, building this kind of business can feel lonely. That's why we built a private school community that is based off of a ton of other home service business owners that are literally going down the same pathway as you. We are winning together. You get all the tools, resources, and direct access to us. Join the movement today. The link's in the description below. Oftentimes in business and in life, in personal life as well, I find myself being very, very in the weeds of problems. Sometimes I often find myself there. I'm inside of the problem. Okay, so let me explain to you in a different tone here. So I'm reading a book right now called Leadership Tactics by Jocko Willink, and it is about leadership. And I wanted to share this nugget with you because there was a time where he was going through a training exercise and him and his entire platoon all had their rifles pointed at a wood line where the enemy was. And for hours, like all of them were lined up. They had their rifles pointing towards the wood line, ready for the enemy to run out of the wood line. And after 2, 3, 4 hours goes by, in that ready position, he started to ask himself, like, guys, like, what's going on here? Like, the enemy's not coming. What are we doing? Are we just going to sit here, like kind of like sitting ducks? And so what he did is he looked right, looked left, put his rifle down while everybody else had their rifles up, took 5 to 10 steps back off of the firing line to assess the situation, to figure out what is the next steps. Because inside of the problem, when you are knee deep in the issue and you're looking at the enemy or you're tackling problems in your business, we don't think clearly. Oftentimes, if you find yourself in that situation where you're not thinking clearly and it's a big problem that's occurring, take steps back in your business. Get away from the business operations. Get some distance from the problem and step away. That's actually a good thing. Good leaders can separate themselves from the problem, get away from the issues, reflect, think through things, look right, look left. And when he did that, when he separated himself off of the line, he realized that He could have a quarter of his platoon move to the right, and then the other quarter on the left side move to the left, so they could cover more ground of the wood line instead of all of them just sitting there in a line for hours watching the wood line waiting for the enemy to come. Instead, he took a few steps off the firing line, assessed the situation as a good leader does, doesn't get too caught up in the issues, assesses the situation, and then delegates what needs to happen. You can use this mindset in your business, and I have too. Oftentimes, when there's a really big problem or a really big issue or a really big damage case or something like that in the business, or a really upset customer, or a really upset team member, don't get flustered. It's okay if you don't have the answer right now. You could say, look, let me get some time to think about it. I need to assess the situation, take a step back, go in your car, go for a drive, separate yourself, get some distance away from the problem, and you will realize you can think more logically, navigate yourself through that issue much, much better than if you stayed there inside of the fire that's going on. That is one of the biggest key points. I'm asking you now, what problems do you have inside of your business that you are navigating? What is one of the biggest issues or problems or hurdles or challenges or constraints that is in your business right now? Let me help you. Put it in the comments below, and I can see if I can help navigate you through those problems. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments below. They will get answered. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps the algorithm, and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because you're not going to want to miss any more content.